Good day, everybody. What a beautiful day. I'm Kraken. You're visiting Kraken's Garage and Adventures. My name is Eric, and I'm your host. In today's video, we're going to do an interview, what I call a legacy interview, as I talk to people that have been riding a long time, and I want to hear about their stories. And today we talked to Minimac. And wow, the conversation got away from us. It was, my mindset was to have kind of a fireside chat. Two guys with a cup of coffee, or guy and a gal, whatever. Cup of coffee and talking about life on two wheels and in a relaxed environment. And I'm blown away at the generosity of my friends that actually will open up and tell me about their lives and how it all went down for them and what keeps them coming back. It's amazing. And I hope you enjoy the episode. There'll be two parts to this series coming up. There's not much to edit because it's pretty much just an interview, and so there'll be pretty much back to back pretty quickly. So let's get to it. Welcome to another version of another episode of Kraken's Garage. We have a special guest today. Today is my friend Minimac from advrider.com, as well as sporttouring.org, who I met on the forums. Been riding a long time. Came down here to Virginia to stay for a visit and visit some family in the local area. His name is Bruce, and welcome to Kraken's Garage.
Thanks, Eric. First thing I want to say is, I really appreciate the effort that you and your wife put out for me, and man, this is awesome. Anybody that has the opportunity or gets the invite to Casa de Redneck is take advantage of it. You're really missing out.
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you to say. Bruce, part of this series of videos, like I did with Conch Shooter, is what I call my legacy series, where I don't want to talk to Valentino Rossi, who's been interviewed 1,000 times. I want to talk to average Joe, you, Michael, etc. And I want to hear about their journey in life and what got you into motorcycling, what led you to even riding a scooter at this point in your life, your best ride, your worst ride, and what keeps you coming back. And, how many more years do you think you're going to be doing this?
I hope I'm going to be doing it till, I'm pushing up daisies.
Okay.
But hey, the body is the one you got to listen to.
Right.
I started riding, oh my gosh. I had a couple of older friends that were into motocross back in the mid-'60s, and went to the races with them.
Hadakas, Husqvarnas.
Yep. The old Hidaka, I forgot
Wombat.
what it was. The Wombat. Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I picked up an old CZ, and my dad bought it at a good price. So we started playing with that out in the woods and running the fields and whatnot. And they used to have in Buffalo, they had a winter carnival behind the art gallery around the little lake there, and they had a little motocross track set up, so we started out running that.
Okay.
There was a dealer in Lockport, Walter Cole, who departed, but he had a big field that used to flood, and it was ice, bigger than a hockey arena.
Okay.
And we used to play polo on the ice on our bikes.
Isn't that something?
So everybody had their, their motocross
Did you stud the
bikes.
tires?
No, that was before they put screws in them and everything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
I bet that was an interesting
So
ride.
it was fun, and I had a Yamaha Twin 100.
Oof. Okay.
Which was a beast to ride, anyways.
Right.
Too much torque and power for that little pressed frame thing.
Right.
But anyways, that was my polo bike until I got sliding sideways the one time and hooked a crack in the ice did an endo, landed on my head, split my helmet open. And this was back in 65 or 66.
Okay.
And split my helmet open. And I ended up in the hospital for a couple of days under observation for severe concussion. So that put an end to our ice polo days. But one of my buddies in high school had bought a 55 Yamaha little road scooter, well, bike. And we got out one night and started playing around with it, and I thought this was fun. So his buddy was getting ready to go to college. He had an 80 Yamaha. I ended up buying it. That was my first road bike. Well, my dad got interested in it. Before I could get my license, I had to, could only ride around while I waiting for the appointment to get my road test. So I'm riding around the front yard. I wore a track in the yard, our 40-foot little yard.
And your dad was more than excited talking about it.
Well, I ended up having to spend half the summer replanting it, but he ended up taking it a couple of times, and he got to like it.
Okay.
He had made friends with one of the guys he worked with had an old Jawa 175.
Okay.
So he got my dad interested in biking. So we were off and running. Between the two of us, him and me, we were both wheeler dealers. If we bought a bike for $200, if we sold it for $250 or $300, we were thrilled.
Oh, sure.
So in that first 2 years, we probably burned through easily 40 to 50 bikes.
Wow. Flipping them and making a dime on
Yeah.
each one. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So, I went through a Bridgestone 175, Suzuki 150s. Then I graduated to a Honda 305 Super Hawk.
Okay.
And back in 66, that was 66, early 67, that was a big bike.
Sure was.
I mean, I was a stupid kid. Well, I'm still stupid, but drag racing everybody on the street.
Right.
I made some money on that bike machine, but it was crazy. I bought it at a repossession auction.
Okay.
Guy bought the bike, had 200 miles on it, dumped it, never made a payment. So I ended up paying like $400 or $500 for it.
Fixed it up.
Fixed it.
Rode the hell out of it.
And rode the wheels off of that thing.
Right.
But getting back to my 80 Yamaha, now my dad was a pretty good sized guy, and so he'd take that out on me at night. I only had a permit. So he'd take it out, him and his buddy would go riding. So the one night my mother wanted to go with them. So they're going up the Grand Island Bridge, which was a pretty good grade. She had to get off and walk along the side across the bridge because the bike wouldn't go over maybe 10 or 15 miles an hour with the two of them on it.
Oh my gosh.
But when we were wheeling and dealing, we could only register so many bikes in a year. And then they told us we had to get a dealer's license. So we started registering in my mom's name. And New York decided to put in a helmet law. Then they decided you needed a separate license for your bike. But if you could show them proof that you had a bike registered, they grandfathered you in.
Okay.
So my mother got her motorcycle license, never once drove anything.
Yeah.
But when she passed, when she was 80 years old, she still had kept up their motorcycle license.
Right on.
So it was fun. It's been a long ride.
How many years have you been riding, Bruce?
On the road since 66. I got my license in 66. In fact, that first 80 Yamaha, I put 6,000 miles on it in 5 weeks. And all I had was a
54
permit.
years on road, plus your off road when you were young.
Yeah.
So 60 years.
Probably pretty close to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you just recently sold your Gold Wing, and are you gravitating to getting away from the big 800-pound bikes, or?
Yeah, I got to a point where, physically, after riding for an hour or two, it was hard to swing my leg up over. you know, a degenerative hip thing, but
Sure.
it doesn't, I'm not in pain or anything, it's just, it doesn't work as good as it used to.
Of course, of course.
And it just, it was time. I got into scooters, oh heck, probably,
We have the Morpheus, which is,
yeah, well, right now I got a 250 Morphus. I've had 2 Majesties. I've got a 3rd Majesty that's a stripper. There's no plastics on it, but everything else is there. And then I recently bought the silver
the
one.
silver one, right?
I've gone through a Bergman and a couple other scooters, but
The Bergman was at the 650?
it was the 650
okay.
Executive.
The Executive, okay.
And it was good for what it was.
Okay.
I never really grew that attachment to it, but it was a good road bike. I do most of my riding in the last 10 to 15 years has been traveling, you know, and I'm not opposed to doing a lot of super slab if I have to. I want to get to where I'm going quickly and then do, you know, the scenic thing and looking. And
Right.
I've never been a shutterbug. I
Right.
take terrible pictures, but man, some of the sights I've seen, I wish
take
I was.
thousands of pictures and I throw out most of them, but I take many, many pictures and then I take 1 or 2 to share with people and hopefully give them a flavor of what I was seeing.
Well, I mean, as far as your photos and your little trips on the bike and your histories and that's fantastic. I love that.
Well, you're very kind, thank you.
No, I'm not.
Regarding your, for 2 questions. First of all, did your kids ever get into it?
My daughter was. She's passed, but she was into bikes.
Okay.
She was into bikes heavy. And she rode with me all over the place.
Did she ever aspire
She
to get her
didn't-
license? And
She did. She wanted to get her license, and you know, she got sick and died before she could. But
very sorry. Okay.
you know, but that's life. And my son, we had a Cow 400 that I taught him how to ride. He rode it around, got his permit, but he never got his license. He just didn't get the bug.
Never
you know?
really held. Okay.
For me, it's almost like an addiction. You know, once you got, if you got the bug for cycling, motorcycling, and scootering, you can't help it.
My personal experience when I'm riding, 2 things come to mind. My dad was a pilot. He made a profound statement. He said, when you ride a motorcycle or a scooter, 2 wheels or whatever, he says it's the closest thing to flying you will ever have on the ground. And I believe that statement to be true. You're just gliding and banking.
And your field of vision is so much wider.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
You know.
And the second thing is, no matter, we all have problems in life, whether it be health or family or relationships or whatever going on in your life, could be your career. When I hop on a bike, I have a euphoric feeling where it just disappears. And my mind is clear and that 10,000 pound gorilla is off my back for that entire ride. Have you experienced that? Or am I just being weird?
No, a lot of times I will, you know, things start to weigh on you or whatever.
Sure.
And I'll just go. My wife hates it when I says, let's go for a ride. Well, where do you want to go? You know,
Doesn't
she
matter.
has to have a destination. I just want to get out and go.
Okay, that finishes up the first half of my interview with Bruce, and I hope you enjoyed it. We have a second half coming up with lots to share. I'm out on my Harley White Glide today. I'll do a video on this one sooner or later. This is my roots. Been riding Harleys all my life, and that Moto Guzzi's, and what a great bike. Some people don't like the forward controls. Some people don't like the rumble, the power band of a tractor, the dinosaur design that is sorely outdated. Well, I got news for you. I'm a freaking dinosaur, and I'm sorely outdated. So there you go. Such is life. But we'll get into the mods I've done to this bike and what my future plans are for it, and do that at another time. I have so much content to get to. I'm cranking it out as fast as I can. And alright, quit sniveling there, get to it, get to work. So I'm enjoying some country riding today on the White Glide. Poor Texas and Florida and Louisiana are getting beat up from the hurricane right now, and that mess is headed to Virginia here by this weekend. And today is Thursday. I suspect you will be watching this video by Friday or Saturday, but my heart goes out to folks in those areas. There's a reason why I live on a lake. I don't have hurricanes. As much as I love the water view or whatever, I just can't deal with that type of weather. Too mucky fudge for me. I wanted to ask folks, post your comments about how you feel about the Legacy series of the videos, like the interview with Michael and now Bruce, and there'll be others. I have another one slated. I just gotta figure out how to get to him to do the interview, and another compelling stories to share. And as I said, that's why I added adventures to the Kraken's garage, because it isn't just about wrenching and accessories and things like that. There's so much life to live on two wheels, so many people. One of the great things about being a motorcyclist, and until you do it, you don't get it, is the community. Every time I pull over, I take a lot of pictures here in Virginia on my cell phone, and every time I pull over, I'll be darned if one, if not two people pull over to check to make sure I'm okay and I don't need help. Clearly they're motorcyclists, and they've been on the side of the road and in trouble, and so they get it. And until you interact with that type of camaraderie, brotherhood, for better choice of words, I don't know, it's amazing. And I talk with people on the forums, and I have for 10, 15, 20 years. Never met them, but when I do meet them, the beauty of it is it's like meeting an old friend. You already kind of know them, and it has nothing to do with your financial status or whether you're in the Senate House Committee or you're a plumber. You have one common denominator, and that's motorcycling, and you enjoy it, and you have lots to share with one another on your adventures, your disasters, bad rides, good rides, great bikes you've owned, crappy bikes you've owned, and those of us that have spouses that aren't into motorcycling, we don't get to share that information at home. So it's a real treat to be able to talk to people that are like-minded for an extended period of time. I welcome it. I welcome it every chance I get. What can I say? I'm geeking out over motorcycles. Well, let's go right to the music and the outro. You know the deal. Here we go again. What can I say? The place is haunted. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. And remember, folks, go riding when you can, because it's good for ya.